Good morning. I'm Ryan Hartley with First District, and today I'm going to talk a little bit about GIS and do a video demonstration for ArcGIS Professional as well as First District's GIS mapping websites. GIS stands for Geographic Information System, and essentially that is a system of software and data that allows you to create a spatial model of your region. In this case, Han County. When you're looking at the screen, you'll notice a series of data layers that I've compiled from Han County. If you look down at my table of contents on the left, you'll see that I have county boundaries, state highways, we have Department of Transportation roads, cities from Department of Revenue. The zip code boundary layer came from Esri. I believe that is a federal data set that they provided. We've also got fisheries from Game and Fish, section lines, and we have Esri's default world imagery, which actually isn't too bad. They've come a long way in improving the quality of that world imagery you get, especially at no additional cost. One of the things that you can do using ArcGIS Professional is create bookmarks, so you can quickly navigate around the map to get to the areas you want to see, or areas that you see quickly. Oftentimes when I create a project like this, I'll have all the different communities bookmarked. As you see, when I zoom in, more data became visible. I didn't have my DOT roads on because we were out too far, but as we get in, they turn on and they're color coded. You can see that hard surfaces roads are in black, gravel roads are in green, and then there's also a brownish color for low maintenance roads that you're not likely to see inside the town of Miller. We also have our state highways in red. One of the nice things about using ArcGIS is we can use the Select Features tool to draw a box, and it will select the data that we want to view. As you can see, I picked up 4 different features here between 4th Avenue and 5th Street. And then there's a list of attributes that make more sense to Department of Transportation than probably you or I. But that's okay for now. All of these different data fields can be updated and modified to the county's desire. And we can clear that. One of the things that I thought was interesting was just to the south of Miller is a lake designated by Game and Fish as a fishery. I believe this is called Jones Lake. We'll let the software catch up. Yes, we can see we have Jones labeled. This is actually in the Miller zip code, which makes sense. You see that yellow line there? This is the boundary between St. Lawrence and Miller zip codes, according to the feds. So you can put whatever stock in that you'd like. But I'm going to identify Jones right now. And actually, here, let me do this again here. Highlight fisheries and click Jones Lake. And we can see that largemouth bass and black crappies are supposed to be inhabiting this lake. You folks are from Han County, so you have a better idea as to whether that's true or not than I do. But I thought it was interesting. Another thing that you assessors will be doing a lot of is locating properties, and you'll be doing that by township range and section. So I set up a quick query here that will query our section lines where township equals 114, range equals 67, and section equals 34. All we have to do is run that, and I just want to pull this to the side so that we can see. We have one feature selected. So once that's selected, we can easily zoom to it. And here is section 34. This is going to be handy when you're doing parcel lookups. And it is very easy to change that. If we want to jump from section 34 to section 22, it's as easy as changing our section number. And we can zoom this feature, and it will take us directly to section 22. These are just a few of the things that you can do using ArcGIS Professional. There are a lot more things that you can do, but I'm trying to keep the demonstration relatively short, so I will move on. The next thing that I want to show you is our First District MapNet. This is our MapNet site. This holds all of the different county GIS websites that First District hosts. We'll use Cottington County as an example. And of course our disclaimer comes up. This depends on what the user wants. You can customize how you want the website to look. The way Cottington County does it is they make some of the data available to the public, and other data sets or other data fields within the data sets are made private, and you have to do a sign-in to view them. The first thing that we'll do is show you the quick search function. You can do a quick search, and we will type in the last name and all the information associated with Todd and Rogine K's, this happens to be my boss, is made available. And as you can see, some basic information there. It shows legal description, section, township, range, and its property address. So that is interesting, but as you can see, the base map isn't showing a lot in the way of detail. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up my Maps tab and go to my map layers, and I'm going to turn on the 2017 Eagle View image. And all of a sudden we've got a lot more information that is made available. And we can also open up our map layers, go to cadastral, and turn on our parcels. That way all of our additional parcel information will show up and become available. So doing a search this way, we can search by name, we can search by property address, we can also search by record number. Assessors like to use record number to search. Another thing that we can do is we can use this identify button, and we can identify some of Todd's surrounding properties. And we'll open up on details, and we can see Alyssa McNamara is his neighbor that lives kitty corner from him, and some of the information there as well. I will go back into our maps and open up the map layers and just show you some of the different data sets we have available to the public. We do have floodplain data, we have parcels and plats, a lot of the transportation data. We can turn on railroads and interstate as well. We also have a county roads layer for our county highway superintendent. Quite a few of the political boundaries are available as well. I have townships and sections turned on, but we also have voting wards, precincts, commissioners' districts. Let's just turn on our voting wards, and you can see that this is Ward B. That's where Todd resides. We've also got city boundary lines and polys. There's some zoning. We can turn on the zoning information and see that Todd lives in an R1 district. If we open up utilities, notice that there's no utilities information here. That information is not available to the public. The same way with the data that was designed specifically for the people that work out at the airport. And we have all of our different base layers. We have 2014 Eagle View and 2017. We can shut off the 2017 and look at 2018 FSA. And as you can see, there's quite a difference there. The imagery is blurry. It's not as fine as the Eagle View image, but the difference in price is also substantial as well, considering 2018 imagery is provided at no cost from FSA, but you'll have to pay about $80,000 for Eagle View. Another thing you can do is you can also turn on world imagery, and I'm going to shut off this 2018. This is also that imagery that we were looking at in ArcGIS Pro. And this data looks pretty good as well. So you may actually be able to get by with using this. But this is the different data that you get for free. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a sign in. And once that gets us signed in, we'll go back in and do another quick search for Todd again. And as we get in, we can see that there's a lot of additional information right here that wasn't there before. We generate our property reports. We can see that there's a property card here. This looks kind of ugly. Let me just do this and turn on my map layers and get my Eagle View imagery back up again, and also turn on my cadastral. once you have this saved, it will always come back the same way. One of the things that you'll notice in this data set that is in the login that wasn't in the public is NRCS soils. We can quickly turn those on, and we can see that the soil type is J143A. I like the old MU symbols better, but this is what it is. So as we go through, we can turn on some additional information. One of the nice things that we do now, and it should be of great interest to the assessors, is we'll go back, and I'm just going to clear this. I want to identify this piece of property right here. And when I do a community info, all this information is going to show up. But the one that I really want to show you is soil types. These are all of the different soil types that comprise this data set. And we have adjusted these so that the different soil types will match up with deeded acres, not the GIS calculated acres. The days of counting dots are officially over. We can also go back and check school district information. Is any of this data in the flood zone? Actually, there is an area that is in the flood zone for that property, and we can see that here as well. So that is also very handy information if you're looking at properties for resale. There's additional voter information as well. We know that Myron Johnson is county commissioner out here. That property that we clicked on is not in the city, so we're not seeing voting wards or precincts. We can also look at nearest medical facilities. Prairie Lakes Hospital is 2 miles away from that property. Another interesting thing that we can do is we can use our tools to draw on the map. If you wanted to draw a shape, you can actually pick the type of shape you'd like, draw a rectangle in. You can clear that and change the color. If you don't like red, we could change it to purple. And we can adjust the sizes. We can also do circles or ellipses. That's handy. Another thing that we can do is we can also do text. We can change the size of the text and color. Let's make it, let's just try white. Type in the name, R. Berg. And then we can click out there on the map and it will put it where we want it to be. If we don't like where that is, we can undo and drop it here. So very handy. Another thing that we can do while we're at it is we can also print this once we get the map done the way we want to. So we can change this from portrait to landscape, and then you just drag the map to where you want it to be. And once that's done, you can either print it to a hard copy, or you can create a PDF or even a JPEG image. And with luck, that will show up here in just a moment. This shows up in a separate window, and here we are. This can be emailed off to someone else. Another thing that we can do while we're here is just quickly identify this, and we can generate a property report for that property. And as you can see, it provides assessed values and owner information. And this is tailored to whether it's out in the county or in the city. You're going to get different information depending on what you're checking on. You can also convert this to a PDF right here. And you can also look at that. If you have pictometry or Eagle View, this will take you on a direct link to the obliques, which probably look better if we were to do it in town. Let's go back to the town, and we'll just quickly do a demonstration of that as well. We can do an identify on this residence here, show the details, and as I say, we can bring up the property report as well. And as taxes payable, a history of assessed values. This also shows property information, year built, number of stories, a lot of information. This also has photos and floor plans as well. And we can bring up the Eagle View Oblique for this. And here's that residence. And we can pan around to all four sides, and we can also add the parcel information as well. So it is nice to have those direct links to the properties. Another thing that we can do for tools is we can measure on the map. We can start with just by clicking a point and getting latitude and longitude. A lot of times this is handy if you're locating someone. We can measure distance. As you can see, that's 37.3 feet across. We can also measure area. As you can see, this is in acres. We can change that to square feet. You can see that that's 835 square feet. Another handy tool is we can select on the map by point. We can also add a buffer and change this value. Say we had a zoning change from right here, and we needed to select all the people that are within 500 feet of this property and notify them of a zoning change. If we do that, once we click, we can see that it is selected all the property within 500 feet, and it's listed them here. An easier way to look at that is to go to the table view, which shows all that information in a table. We can export that out to a comma separated values, which is readable by Microsoft Excel. We can open this up. And here all that information is in an Excel spreadsheet. Another thing that is handy is we can also create mailing labels. This is going to create a PDF with all of our different mailing labels for those selected properties. These are some of the features that we have in our websites, and I'd be happy to discuss more. Just so that you are aware, if we were to contract with Hand County to do the parcel mapping, we would set up one of these websites right away. And as we go through the counties, township by township, and develop these parcels, we would be posting it out here for the assessor to review. This provides a fast, easy mechanism for the assessor to provide feedback on how the parcels are looking, and if we have any follow-up questions or need some additional information, the assessor can be looking at the same data that the GIS analysts are looking at. It is our intention to have this data done within 1 year of our start date, and then we would maintain the data for 1 year following that. So we'd set up this website, and it would run for 2 years. After that, if the county decided they liked the website and they wanted to continue on, we would talk about establishing an annual maintenance fee or tech support fee for that. I believe that is all of the data that I wanted to show. It looks like I'm at about 20 minutes. Thank you. I'm likely sitting right out in the audience, and I'm more than happy to answer your questions.